Hello everybody, my name's Andy, I'm an avid language learner and I have a new language challenge. So I do like my language challenges, but I also like to dabble around in languages and try to maintain the ones that I've previously been learning. So I haven't made a video for 5 months now, that's a hell of a long time, and I keep intending to make videos but just never get around to it. And now I'm back using my video camera. I was using my Chromebook before, but I've kind of sorted out my media a little bit. So hopefully that will give me more leeway, more inspiration to make videos. So what have I been doing in the last 5 months? Let me just tell you a bit about that. So before, when I was making videos, my last kind of 10 or so videos were about maintaining languages and about language reviews and going back over the languages that I'd had learned to a higher level. So I kind of ended up not really being able to make a decision on what language I was going to try to learn next, or which language I was going to try to maintain. And in the shop where I work, I'm exposed to many different languages, so I'm very lucky in that I can try to maintain some of the languages that I've learned already, and the customers come in and expect me to speak, for example, Spanish or French or German with them, and I do that to a certain extent in the shop. I try to work as well at the same time, so it's only if I'm on the shop floor that I'm able to do that. And I also get practice with Mandarin and Polish and Spanish quite a lot, those 3 languages in the shop. So it's my anniversary today. I started learning Mandarin 4 years ago today, and I got to a fairly okay level in that language a couple of years ago, and I've just been kind of maintaining it since. So one language that I haven't really maintained is Kurdish. I really struggled with that language, and I just decided to stop learning it for a while because I didn't really have language learning materials that I was happy with, or language materials that I enjoyed, and if it was becoming a bit of a chore and a bit boring for me, so I decided to stop learning that language. So I did dabble with another similar language recently, which is Persian, and the reason for that was I bumped into somebody I know who's from Iran, and he said he was going back to Iran. So this was back in November, so my last video was I think back in September, August, September last year, and he said he was going back to Iran, and I managed to use a few phrases in Farsi that I knew. And he said, why don't you try to learn some more Farsi? So I did. So I said, right, when you come back from Iran in about 5 or 6 weeks' time, come into my shop and I'll see how much Farsi I can learn. So it kind of was a little bit of a mini challenge. So I did that in November, December last year. And I did Pimsla's levels 1 and 2. So that's 60 lessons of Pimsla. And some of them I listened to a couple of times because I found some of them a bit difficult. And I started trying to watch Persian films and TV series, but I didn't get very far with that because in December or January, I'm not sure exactly when it was, I was challenged to do another language learning, another new learning language challenge, and that was from 2 Vietnamese customers in the shop. So a father and son came into my shop. The father doesn't speak any English, but the son does. And I heard them speaking a language, and I thought it was Cantonese because I could hear these kind of clipped sounds that come out of the end of sentences of Cantonese sometimes. So they said, no, we're speaking, well, he said, we're speaking Vietnamese, the younger person. The older one didn't speak any English at all. So because he didn't speak any English, I thought I'd learn some Vietnamese. So I learned a few phrases. So when they came in next time, I was able to greet him and say, how are you, and things like that. So I learned a couple of phrases, but I only learned how to say thank you and hello to an older man. So I learned that, and then when they came in again, they said to me, why don't you actually try to learn some Vietnamese as a kind of challenge? So next time we come in, see how much you can learn. So I did that, and I did Pimsla's lessons 1 to 30 in Vietnamese as well, and I started watching TV series on Netflix. I watched Scarlet Hill, which is really a good detective series. And then I realised that there are 3 dialects of Vietnamese, and I was learning the northern dialect, which is nothing like any of the TV series I was trying to watch. So I was getting really confused with Vietnamese. And then I managed to have 2 conversations with 2 Vietnamese ladies who came into my shop, 2 different ladies, 2 different times, and they're both from the south of Vietnam. So the language I was learning was from the north, so very confusing for me. So I kind of stopped learning that one as well, because there aren't too many Vietnamese people around Portsmouth that I come into contact with, and I want to learn a language that's going to be really practical for me. So I started learning Filipino. I started learning Tagalog, and I've only started learning it about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And the reason I started learning that is because I keep seeing Filipino people everywhere I go. We've got lots of Filipino customers. We have lots of Filipino people working in the care industry around Portsmouth, nursing and care homes. And I have a couple of regular Filipino customers who are really nice. So I said to one of my Filipino customers, magandang tanghali, which is like good afternoon. And she was so gobsmacked and amazed and pleased that I was learning something that she started trying to teach me some more. So there you go, I've got a Filipino person who's interested in me learning Filipino. So that's my language of 2023, Filipino. In the shop where I work, I'm able to practice the languages that I've already learned. So I'm not worried about maintaining, too much. I do sometimes fancy going onto Netflix and watching a film in Chinese, for example, or German or Spanish. I don't care so long as it's not something in English, because I'm just not interested in English. Something that happened to me the other day in regards to English was that I'm the treasurer of an orchestra, and I have to put a report in every year. So I did my treasurer's report, as I've been doing for the last few years, and the committee looked at my report and picked holes in it because my English wasn't really great. So I did things like split infinitives, I put extra words in that shouldn't be there, I expressed myself in a certain way that was not grammatically correct. I think my spelling was okay, and the content was okay, so I don't really care because they understood what I was saying. But the report was changed quite a bit before it went out to public, to our members and for the committee, for the annual general meeting. So my English isn't always great, which is interesting. It's my first language. But I'm not worried about it because you can understand me, can't you? Can you? Okay, on that note, I'm going to go. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm going to try to make some more videos which are themed, so either to do with language learning topics or trying to share with you my language learning discoveries in terms of the Tagalog and other languages. So I'm tempted to make a video about all the languages I've ever tried to learn on Pimsleur and see if I can say something in all those languages in one video. So I'll tell you what the languages are now. My Pimsleur languages are Arabic, Twi, Swahili, Croatian, Polish, Russian, Spanish. No, sorry, I haven't really done Spanish for Pimsleur, but I can speak Spanish anyway. Dari, Farsi, Vietnamese. Did I say Farsi already? I think I did. Oh, I've got a block now. Okay, on that note, let's leave it there, and thank you very much for watching, and I'll try to make a new video soon. Take care, stay safe, bye.